Hi, and welcome back. This is session 2, starting your home buying journey. And this is your instructor, Suzanne Martin, with the Home Buyers Resource Center. And just to recap, in session 1, we went through the whole roadmap of the home buying process. And now we're going to delve a little bit deeper into each of those topics. Some of the items we can just brush over a little bit, and some we'll go into a little bit more in depth. So, see you on the next slide. Okay, so what are we going to be covering in session 2? We're going to touch on again to decide where you want to go, when do you want to move, and to get your finances in order, and how to select a loan officer, mortgage broker versus bank. Okay, so making the decision, it seems like it's a very simple decision, but it's really a big one. It's a life-changing decision. It's one of the biggest decisions that you're going to make in your life. So you really have to consider everything. Your lifestyle. You're going to have to talk about if you're planning on having children or if another family member is going to live with you. Your lifestyle choices, the quality of life that you want. There are a lot of different factors that will help you decide on whether or not buying a home is right for you. You may look in 2 years thinking, oh my gosh, I might have to move across the country and it's not a good time. So you really do need to sit down with your partner or whoever may be making that decision with you and really talk about in depth whether buying a house is right for you at this time. Sometimes just sitting back and thinking about all of these different options will help you make that decision. So now, once you've made that decision that yes, you do want to be a homeowner, now you really need to think about where do you want to live? Do you want to be near schools? Perhaps you're thinking about growing your family and you want to be near an elementary school that has really good scores. Or maybe you just need to, you don't have a car, don't want to drive, and you want to be able to walk to shopping or live in a community that has all sorts of different amenities. So you really need to think about where you're going to be in 3 to 5 years. Most people live in their homes for 3 to 5 years. Some people live in a lot longer. But deciding on where you want to live for the next 5 years is pretty important. So there's a lot of options. There's the suburbs, there's living in the city, and then there's living out in a rural area. And it's all a lifestyle choice that you really need to think about before you make the decision of starting to look for a house. Whatever resonates with you inside. Are you a city person? Do you like the walkability of just going out and walking to stores and restaurants and happy hours and parks? Or do you like a little bit more privacy? Do you want to go out to and have an acre of land and have a little bit more privacy and trees? Or do you want to be in a neighborhood of families? And that would be more of the suburban area. So you really have to think about what resonates with you as a person. And just think, it doesn't have to be forever. It just has to be for 3 years, 5 years, or whatever time frame that you allow yourself to give to yourself to live in that area. And then the question becomes when? Are you currently leasing an apartment? Are you on a 30-day? Do you have 30-day notice that you need to give to the landlord or a 60-day notice? Or do you still have 6 months on your lease? Every lease is going to be different. And you'll need to look at your lease agreement or call your landlord and ask how much notice that they'll need if you find a house. Some people are really good and say, oh, I'm excited that you're going to buy a house, and be flexible. And others are going to hold you to that thing and make sure that they get every penny out of you that they can. So really look at your lease document, your apartment or lease document before you make a decision on when you're going to want to move. If you do any kind of work relocation, if you're moving out of state or even within the state but far away, there are a lot of different things you need to consider. And that's why where I can help you is to find an agent wherever that is. I can scope out the best agent for you and help you so you don't have to go out there and meet somebody and not sure if they're the right type of person that you want to work with. So I can do that for you. I have a lot of resources for that. And it is stressful. It's more stressful than just moving within your own town, but you can make it work. The other thing would be, what are your family dynamics? Do you have your family that live right now 2 houses down, or, are they going to be upset if you move? There are a lot of different family dynamics that get changed when you decide to be a homeowner. You may be living near all of your family, and then all of a sudden the house that you can afford to buy happens to be 45 minutes away. So you'll have to consider that, and when you make that decision on when that would be. Are you growing family? Are you going to have a baby? Are you going to have your parents move in? These are the things that also will affect when you can move. And then it's personal time of the year, whatever time of the year that makes you feel good about moving. And if your lease is ready and everything else is in alignment, then you can move anytime you like. As I explained earlier in session 1, during the holidays, sellers do not put their houses up on the market that often, but there are also not a lot of buyers out there, so you wouldn't have the same competition for the houses that are listed. And in the springtime, more listings come on, but more buyers are. So the next section here is pretty important phase. It's your finance and credit session. So you're going to want to have your money in a bank. Keep saving as much as you can and have it be seasoned. They're going to say the bank's going to want to see seasoned money. That means that the money has been in there and you can justify how it got in there. So if it's been in there for months and months and months, they're not going to question it. But if you all of a sudden have $5,000 show up into your bank account, they're going to want to know where it came from. So make sure that your money is in the bank and stays in that same account for a while. And then you're going to decide, do you need help from family for your down payment? You can get the money and season it a little bit at a time, or there's a way that you can have your family give you gift money, and it has to be in writing. The bank's going to want to see that, and they're going to say, we're gifting this money to you and not expecting a payment back. So that's another way to do it. Your lender will be able to go through all of the details with you at that time, should you need to go that route. You will also need to save up enough money for closing costs, which is about 2.5% of the purchase price. Closing costs are things like appraisal, all of the fees for obtaining the loan, and that's paying for your lender, taxes and insurance, and a lot of other types of fees like title insurance and the escrow fee. Those are all closing costs. And that usually is about 2.5% depending on what type of loan you're getting. Could be higher if you're getting a USDA loan or a VA loan. And the closing costs will be outlined to you by your lender after you put your application in and you start working on getting your approval. Your lender will tell you what all of the closing costs are. And generally what I would do for my clients would be to review that closing cost sheet, the settlement sheet, for you. That way because we know what we're looking for, and if you're being overcharged or charged for junk fees, we can take care of that at the time that you receive that. Also, if you can, if you're leasing right now an apartment or a house, save all your rent payment checks and make sure that you pay your rent on time. It's so important because the lender's going to look at your payment history, and if you show that you have good payment history and no derogatories, it'll be a lot better for you, better interest rate, and more options for you for lenders that want to loan you the money. And a good way to do this is pay everything on time, pay your rent on time, save your canceled checks or how you've made your payments. I would go online and get a Credit Karma free account and pull your credit report. Your credit report is going to show you everything. It's going to show you all of the accounts that you have, any derogatories, any late fees, any non-payments. And if you do have those types of things on your credit report, you can get those fixed. They're fixable. And I've helped people steer them in the right direction as to how to get that fixed without hiring a credit company to fix them for you. Now, you can hire a credit company if you're a busy person and you don't have the time to fix them, because it is tedious work and you have to support the derogatory with whatever information you have, and you have to stay on the phone. So it does take a little bit of effort, but it's totally worth it because you can go from a credit score of 650 to 700 by taking care of these things. So when the time comes for you to look at your credit report, if you want to go over that with me and ask me any questions, I'd be happy to go over that with you. You on Credit Karma, you'll have the whole sheet. You can either print it out or just save it as a PDF. But feel free to message me your questions, and we can chat about it. Close any old accounts that have not been used in a long time, and make sure you pay your credit card not all the way down. Pay more than the minimum payment, and it just depends on how much you owe. If you owe a lot of money on your credit cards, you're going to want to show that you're making a healthy payment every month, because if you only make the minimum payment, you're only paying the interest, you're not paying it down, and it'll take you forever to pay it off. If you have any questions about any of that, feel free to message me. Also, you're going to need to show that you have 2 years of time in your current job, or if you're self-employed, you're going to need a couple of years of 1099 self-employment tax records to show that you've made enough money to support a loan. So 2 years of tax returns, 2 years on the job, and if you're changing jobs, right now, when you're in the middle of trying to buy a house, if it's in the same industry, it counts. But if you're changing industries, that 2 years will start all over again. So it's a very important thing to consider. So now that you know that you need to save some money and get it seasoned and try to figure out if you're going to have the funds there for purchasing your home, and you've pulled your credit and starting to work on that, the next step would be talking with a lender or a mortgage broker. And I work with a mortgage broker that will assist you in getting prepared for wherever you live to discuss your loan options. The mortgage brokers are licensed in the states that they work. So here in California, if you happen to be a California first-time home buyer, we can assist you here locally. But if it's out of state, we will match you up with an appropriate lender at no cost to you, and the same way that I do that with real estate agents. So in summary, we've covered the preliminary steps in getting prepared to buying your first home. So congratulations and thank you for sticking with it. But please do go to the other session. Session 3 is going to delve into all of the processes in depth, and you'll just have a better knowledge and confidence level when you are starting your first home buying purchase. So, are you ready to get started? I am, and I'm excited to help you put together your team of professionals. Your team will be handpicked by me based on a 20 to 30 minute consultation of me getting to know you and your needs. We will discuss what personality type you like, the communication style, availability, experience levels, and any other criteria. And then I will vet out the professionals on your behalf and whittle them down to just one or two, depending on your preference. I will be available to you on Zoom if you wish, or you can call me on the phone or simply message or email me if that works better for you. I look forward to personally getting to know you better, and I'm excited to get things started. So I hope to chat with you soon. Now, don't forget, go to session 3 and start learning about the other home buying processes in